Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and welcome to the End-to-End Business Central Solutions for Manufacturing and Distribution webinar presented by InsightWorks. I will start with introductions. First, my name is Ashley Canale. I'm a Client Strategy Manager here at Interdyne Artists. I'll be your host today. More importantly, though, our presenter is Mark Hamblin with InsightWorks. As far as the questions go, please put your questions in the question box over to the right-hand side, and we'll take them all at the end. Lastly, we'll be recording today's webinar, and we'll send out a copy to everyone who registered and also who attended. So you'll be getting that afterwards. And at this time, I will pass it over to you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Great, thank you very much. All right, good morning or afternoon, everyone. What we're going to do today is just run through, a little bit on Business Central, what the capabilities are, and sort of where we fit within that Business Central world. But before we do that, a quick few words about who InsightWorks are, or who we are, I guess. So we've been working with, the old Dynamics NAV, since back in 2009. We actually started with Business Central in 2017, and this is where people who know Business Central always call me a liar because, it didn't exist in 2017, but, back even when it was Project Madeira, we were writing payroll systems and things like that for the Microsoft Cloud platform that now is called Business Central. So we've got quite a bit of experience with the platform and with the, the predecessors as well. We're based in Western Canada, but we do have offices, in the US and Europe and other parts of Canada as well. And really, we serve a global clientele. But the way we work, we partner with Interdyne Artists to, provide your quotes, to develop the solutions and deploy the solutions. So if you have any questions about anything you see in this webinar, feel free to reach out to them. We'll have some contact information at the end of the session. All right. So with that said, let's talk a little bit more about, what we do and what Business Central does. So Business Central, really, if you're coming into this new and looking at what Business Central can do for you, or if you already own Business Central, you may know it does all this, but really it's a full-fledged ERP system that covers off, every part of your potential business, everything from, receiving, purchasing, receiving, manufacturing, all of those capabilities live within Business Central. So you're wondering, well, what do we do? Well, there's gaps within all of these. Every ERP system will have gaps in certain areas where they're maybe not as strong as they could be. For example, in warehouse management, not every ERP system is going to have a best-of-breed warehouse management solution and things like that. So there's little gaps in all of these areas within Business Central. And if you happen to be running Business Central and you have a specific need for something within one of these areas that maybe isn't as robust as you want, you need something to fill that gap, and that's where we come in. So we come in, we add all of these products into Business Central. So each of these are sort of an individual app that you can get from AppSource. Some, like this Nav Extender thing down here, isn't really available for Business Central. It's for the on-premises world. But you have a gap. You say, well, we need to be able to do shipping, or we need to be able to do point of sales for our current of sales thing, or whatever. You can get that. You can plug that app in, and now you fill that gap, and you can continue on. So you start with a very comprehensive base, and you just plug in the little pieces that you need to meet your specific requirements. So that's really what we do. That's where we come in. So let's talk a little bit about these various applications, and we may have time here, depending on how fast I talk, how quickly the coffee takes effect for me this morning. We may have time to actually look at a little bit of the software as well. But for now, I'm just going to run you through the PowerPoint, and we're going to talk about what these things do. So the first one, this is what we're often very well known for, is our Warehouse Insight product. So this is warehouse management. So if you're running even a very small warehouse or parts room or something like that, all the way up to a very large warehouse running 100 scanners or more at a time, this is a good solution for you. So this runs on a mobile device, something like this. This happens to be a Windows device. Most people are going Android now, but you have a scanning device or a tablet or something like that that you can use to receive, to ship, to do your inventory counts, to do all of those things from a mobile device. And all of these applications that I sort of implied on the last slide are built into Business Central. So there's no separate database to manage, no integration points to manage or anything like that. You install the app from AppSource, and your entire application lives within Business Central. Okay, so all of this uses your existing Business Central capabilities. If you set up on Business Central already and you're doing inventory management and warehouse management on paper, it's very easy to plug this in and keep going. All right, now I'll go a little further on this Warehouse Insight piece because, as I mentioned, it is one of the more popular products. What you get with it, these are all the various modules that you have available. So if you're looking for a warehouse management solution for Business Central, there's a few out there, but Warehouse Insight really is the top of the heap, mainly because of all the applications that we provide, and we provide the ability to build your own applications, to take pictures of damaged goods at receiving, to do license plating, to have generate shipping labels, all of that from your warehouse management solution from the handheld scanners. Okay, so that's a little bit on the Warehouse Insight piece. The next one that often goes with it is our Dynamic Ship product. So Dynamic Ship is integrated shipping with all of these carriers that you see on the right here, plus a bunch more, number of LTL carriers and things like that are coming online here shortly. So what this allows you to do really is go out, rate shop your shipping. So if I know I'm shipping a few packages and I've packaged everything up, I know the weights, dimensions, all that, because I've got what we call a package worksheet in the product that allows me to build those packages. It'll go out, it'll get me the shipping rates from UPS, FedEx, USPS, whatever carriers you use, give you those rates, the delivery dates, you can choose one, and it spits out your shipping labels for you right then and there. Or if you've already chosen a carrier, it'll just spit out the label for that carrier and you don't have to go through the rate shopping. And it'll send emails to customers and send them a nice tracking page, that lets them track it with your branding and logos and everything on it, so that it's much cleaner than sending them to, just say a FedEx tracking page. So all of that capability can be done from, again, directly from within Business Central. So if you're using things like WorldShip or, Ship Manager or any of those types of things, those go away. And you run everything from within Business Central. You can generate all your shipping labels, bills of lading, all of those sorts of things directly from within Dynamic Ship. And some of our marketing people and things like that get angry at me when I talk about how cheap these things are. I shouldn't say cheap, that's not a good word, but these are all very attainable costs for you. We're not charging thousands of dollars a month for this type of capability that is likely going to save you thousands of dollars a month. These are very affordable packages that you can implement very quickly, and they'll make a significant difference immediately. Okay. All right. Inventory count. So, the standard Business Central inventory count capability, some of the new stuff they've added recently, is not bad. It's pretty good. If you're a smaller organization, it may work just fine for you. But if you've got a lot more inventory, so if you've got a lot of inventory, or if you have a lot of serial numbers or lot numbers and things like that you need to reconcile, if you have auditors coming in to double check your counts, then this advanced inventory count is the way to go. Or if you go with the Warehouse Insight product and you want to be able to scan everything in as you're counting, again, this might be a good choice for you. Because what it does is all those things I mentioned, it really extends the base capability of Business Central to allow you to do auditable recounts for your auditors, or spot checks that are all auditable. It lets you reconcile lot numbers and serial numbers fairly easily. A lot of reconciliation tools and those sorts of things. So really does streamline your physical inventory count process. So for example, if you're doing an annual physical inventory count and you've got 20 people out there counting for a few days, you might drop that down to a single day of inventory count and reconciliation. So you can often pay for this tool the first time you use it. Right? And if you're doing cycle counts and things like that, of course, it's also invaluable for those as well. All right, so it's a little on the inventory count. That's almost a must-have for anybody that's got a significant amount of inventory. All right, license plating is sort of an underlying technology. I won't get into this in too much detail. You can implement it independently through AppSource. It's an app you can install, but it's really used by the warehouse management system and Dynamic Ship to be able to build packages and pallets and things like that for both shipping and for warehouse management purposes. But this is sort of an advanced module that, you know, really nobody else in the Business Central world offers, you know, as an option. Right. Now, most of what we talked about there was sort of the inventory management piece, you know, warehouse management, shipping, you know, inventory accounts, things like that. If you're a manufacturer, if you do any production activities, then Shop Floor Insight may be a tool worth looking at. So what this allows you to do is really capture all the information from the shop floor, you know, through a terminal that sits out on the shop floor. So that can be a barcode scan, where I, you know, scan what I'm working on and it captures my time, or it could be a touch screen where I go in and I have a tablet or something like that that I can use to record my time. And it does more than time. It does time and attendance. We have facial recognition for the time and attendance, so that people walk in, you know, from the change room in the morning, recognizes who they are, and it clocks them in for the day. And then it can calculate overtime and everything based on their clock in and clock out, and send that off to the payroll system. So that's pretty nice. From the time somebody clocks in the morning till they get their pay stub 2 weeks later, they're never having to, you know, manipulate any data. Nobody's having to manually calculate overtime, any of that sort of thing. So it's pretty significant savings, especially in the errors that may pop up while people do that. So that's sort of the time and attendance piece. The other piece is that shop floor piece, where I can capture exactly how much time I spent on each production or non-production activity. I can capture my consumption, which in, you know, that's the term in Business Central for issuing parts to a work order. And I can also capture my output, which is the term for, you know, receiving my finished goods from production. So I can generate finished goods, I can track my consumption, I can do quality entry, so I can set up quality inspections at various points and record, you know, length, width, inner diameter, current draw, whatever type of criteria you want to capture per product or work center, you can do that from there as well. And finally, we also have the ability to do, you know, graphical scheduling on there. So you can go in and view your schedule, your shop schedule graphically, move things around, you know, color code things that are late, so it'll automatically show, you know, if you like anything that's late will show up in red, or anything that you know, is started but overdue could be some other color. So you have all that capability. So we've got graphical scheduling, sort of some, you know, color coded indicators on that screen, those sorts of things. So again, anything you need to do from the shop floor, this is essentially a manufacturing execution system. Anything you need to do from the shop floor, this guy will do for you. All right, well, I lied. One thing that it doesn't do is automatically generate the schedule. So from within Business Central, when you bring in your production orders, you generate all your production orders from the planning worksheet, and I'll talk about our version of that in a moment. You generate all your production orders, it'll generate a schedule for you, but it's not really a very good schedule. You know, you give it a due date and it'll tell you when you need to start. It's not going to actually schedule it and tell you what's a realistic schedule for executing on the shop floor. Now with Shop Floor Insight, I can go in with a graphical scheduler, and I can move things around and I can adjust my schedule, you know, manually to match what I want to do. But if you don't want that manual intervention, you can use MXAPS. And MXAPS is actually one of the few products that's actually an external package. So this actually runs, you know, on a PC somewhere and connects up to Business Central to do its work. But what it does is it'll look at your existing capacities, you know, the labor that's available, the materials that are available. It'll look at, you know, kind of minimize setup times, so sequence products together to eliminate some setup times. It'll look at pretty much anything you like. If you want to constrain by electricity pricing, if you want it, or tooling, or any of those sorts of things, it'll do that. And so what it does, it looks at all of that information, and it'll generate a schedule you can actually execute on the shop floor, given your existing labor, material, tooling, all of those sorts of things. Okay, and so there's no manual intervention required to generate that schedule. And then from Shop Floor Insight, you know, the planner will come in, they'll generate the schedule, they may manipulate it, do some what-if scenarios, things like that. That gets pushed to shop floor, where the operator can see what they're supposed to do next. They can clock on, they can clock off, they can record what they've actually completed on that particular activity, and then that all automatically feeds back into MX, where for the next day you can generate your next schedule. All right, so that's, if you want the advanced scheduling, that would be the guy to go. Now, let's say I am a manufacturer and I've built all of this stuff. and now I need to sell it. Let's have a parts counter. So this counter sales is really good if you are a manufacturer and you have a parts counter where you have over-the-counter sales, or if you're a distributor with an outlet store or something like that. What it is, it's, I don't want to call it light point of sale, but it's sort of a lightweight point of sale solution that lives inside Business Central. So this is not where you're going to get a high school student to run your point of sale terminal or anything like that. This is for, professional people at the parts counter, or at the store that are going to, be able to sell the product more easily through this counter sales tool. So it allows you to do things like, scan barcodes to build up a sales order. So if a customer comes and drops a bunch of stuff with UPC codes on the counter, I can scan all of that in. It's got much better searching tools than the standard Business Central capabilities for looking up products. If a customer comes in and says, hey, do you have this widget? We can search for that much more easily. We can take multiple payment methods per order. We can take deposits. We can do layaways. All of those sorts of things that you'd expect in a full-blown point of sale solution that's available in Business Central. And it's, again, coming back to the price, it's very easy to make that decision because it's a very low-cost solution, and it solves all the issues you have with selling over the counter, from within a Business Central environment. Okay. Now, I actually should have put these slides in a different order, because before I sell something, maybe I want to, design it. And that's what this product configurator does. So if you have products that you sell that are configurable, they have various options that people can choose from in order to build something up, then this is a good tool to use. So what it'll allow you to do is build up, very simple configurations where I can go in and say, what, I'm building a desk, and I can have different lengths and, different options for drawers and things like that. And I can enter all those options into the system. And then somebody on a sales quote or sales order just has to choose the options that a customer wants. And the system will automatically generate the bill of materials and the routing or the assembly bill of materials if you're just doing kitting. It'll build all of that up for you automatically. And there's, and price it and everything out for you right then and there. So it makes it very easy for, somebody on the sales side to be able to quickly build up a quote for a configurable product. And it's fairly advanced. So, the basics are, okay, I'm building a bicycle and I can choose a different style of handlebars and wheels or something like that. There's no magic there. We're just choosing different components. But you can get a lot more complicated, like that desk example. If I specify it's a 10-foot long desk, I can have the system automatically calculate how much material I need, how much trim I need, how many screws I need, any of those sorts of things. So you can build up those calculations. And you can have rules in there that says, hey, if I choose, this type of wood for my desk, I can't choose, this type of trim as an example. Those types of inclusion and exclusion rules. So very powerful solution for building up these configurations, and actually very easy to implement and get working with. The implementation, again, from AppSource, you click a button and it's installed, and then there's usually a couple hours worth of training, and you're off to the races, and you can actually start building your configurations. So compared to sort of the typical configurator tools that you can find out there, where you start with a 1-month training session to get up and running, I mean, this thing is like lightning, and it does pretty much everything that those larger systems will do for you as well. All right, document drag and drop. So what this allows you to do, it's called Doc Extender. We have two, but Doc Extender from AppSource, you go in, you click install. And by the way, I keep mentioning AppSource. If you happen to be running Business Central on premises, or if you're running Business Central in Azure or something like that, all of these applications are still available to you. You just don't go to AppSource to install them. You have to come to Interdyne to get them installed. But all of these are also available for the on-premises world as well. So you're not excluded if you're not in the cloud world. But if you are in the cloud world, you can go to AppSource, install Doc Extender, and now you can just drag and drop anything you'd like into Business Central. It'll attach that document so you can bring it up anytime you need. So a good example is, I got a sales order that I'm building, and the customer sent me a PO. I can drag and drop that PO against that sales order to refer to it. Or if I've got an assembly diagram, I can drop that onto the the item card, those types of things, or brochures. I can drop onto the item card and they can automatically get copied over to the sales order when I generate a sales order, those types of things. So that's Doc Extender. Now, the Enhanced Planning Worksheet, again, I should have reordered these slides, but what this allows you to do is before you actually go out and generate the production orders for your shop to work on, you can use this tool to do it. So Business Central has a tool called, well, there's two. There's one called a requisition worksheet and one called a planning worksheet. And this sort of takes the place of both of those. It extends those tools to be more useful. So the standard planning worksheet in Business Central is fairly meager, let's say, to be polite. You have to drill down a lot to get to the information you need. It's not the best decision-making tool. It'll go out and it'll tell you what you need to make or buy, and you get a list of things, and that's kind of where it ends. What this tool does is extends that to allow you to get a lot more information about why the plan told you to do what it wants you to do. So I don't have to drill down 50 times to get to an item card or whatever to figure out, why is it telling me to buy 10 of these or whatever it happens to be. In addition, if you're a distributor, so I've been talking about production, I don't care, I don't make anything. Well, if you're a distributor, the standard planning worksheet and requisition worksheet tend to be a little noisy, which means, they're not really ideal for distribution type purchasing. This tool also adds some additional business logic for generating a purchase plan that'll go out and based on your vendor prepaid, freights or dollar amounts and things like that, it will generate out what you need to buy, makes it a lot easier to manage and control, and doesn't give you all that noise that you typically see with standard MRP. So it makes it a lot easier if you're in a distribution environment to actually do your purchasing. All right. Now, if you're on the cloud version of Business Central, there is one gap there. If you need to add anything to any barcodes to any document within the system, so let's say you want to print, barcodes for your items, or you want to have a barcode on your sales order, or customers ask you for barcodes or something like that. Business Central has no way of doing that natively. So the Barcode Generator application that we have on AppSource, you install that, and now you have the ability to go in and build reports that utilize barcodes. Either these data matrix codes, these square barcodes, or the standard code 128 or code 39 barcodes, the linear barcodes. You can add those to whatever report you like. So again, it's a completely free tool. It's just there to help you if you need to add barcodes to anything, whether or not you use any of our other products. All right, so that's it's a little overview of the product line that we offer. And just as a recap, this is a sort of the list of those products again. We went through each of these guys. They're almost all available on AppSource today. Some are on-prem only, but most of these are available on AppSource for you today. If you want to try them out, you can install them. And things like Warehouse Insight and Shop Floor Insight, you'll likely need our help to get things progressing. But most of these other ones you can install and you can play with, really without much input from us if you need to. Okay. All right. Now the last thing I'll mention is some additional resources. If you do need more information than what you got out of this, and I know this is a lot of me talking, and even though I have a lovely speaking voice, it's probably a little bit boring. But if you want to go in and look at more information about this, here's some of the links for those products, and there's a number of recorded videos as well on the website you can go to and listen to my voice some more. It's awesome. Or sign up for we have pretty much weekly webinars on various products that you can sign up for if you need more detail about any of this. And then of course, I've listed these emails here, but if you have any questions, please contact Interdyne. Okay. And with that, I will pass it back over to Ashley.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mark. That was really, really great. Really insightful. Anyways, oh, bad joke on a Wednesday. Anyways, really glad that you all could join us today. I don't see any questions. So just like Mark said, let us know here at Interdyne if you have any more questions, and we can certainly point you in the right direction, or you can certainly use those links on the slides. So look forward to hearing from you all soon. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.